We're on the street. Let's get Chad. Hey.
Right, hey. Quiet. Quiet. No one talking. Okay. You read the problem, it sounds rather simple. It's not a lot of words. It says, what are all values of x? Which the function f is increasing. Okay, memorize the following thought. If you have a graph of f, it's not hard to see when f is increasing. You just look at the graph of f, okay? However, most people, despite the fact that you spend years in classes graphing, it's hard to remember all those graphing techniques. And sometimes they're quite lengthy. So I have a better method. We're not going to graph. I would never graph in this class. It doesn't ever happen on the AP test. It's very rare. The method we're going to use is what's known as a sign chart. Okay? So memorize. If you can graph, graph. Like you have a calculator, just use your calculator. Don't do a sign chart. You'd never use a sign chart with a calculator, ever. The sign chart is like a substitute when you can't use a calculator. So because the AP test is honestly about 80% no calculator, you gotta know this method. And you start the method by remembering a very simple connection, which is this. F is increasing when f prime is positive. So the actual goal of the problem is to figure out when f prime is positive. Then we'll know when f is increasing. Question? Yes, we want to take this formula here for f. Hey, I'm going to jump around the room asking for help. So I put that formula into the ddx operator, meaning I take the derivative of both sides of the formula. We learned that the left side, when ddx is applied, is going to become f prime of x. And then Ryan, what's the right side going to be?
When you apply the ddx, 3x plus.
Close, 3x squared.
Oh, did I not say that?
Keep going.
Plus 6x minus 9.
2 points.
0.
Questions?
Yeah, right.
Okay. Next thing, hey, when you're making a sign chart, you're not worried about any numbers. You're only worried about positive, negative, 0, or undefined. So we're not worried about any numbers, just positive, negative, 0, or undefined.
Wait.
Go ahead, Kenzie, question?
Is it like SIN sign chart or is it SIN?
Sign chart like that.
Oh, okay.
No worries. 2 points for Mackenzie. That's why we're only worried about positive, negative, 0, or undefined. Okay, cool. I need to memorize the following. Making a sign chart is difficult if you cannot factor whatever you are charting. So if you can't factor what you're charting, the sign chart is harder. Sometimes we're going to have to do that, but it's less common. So we want to factor what we are going to chart. We're going to chart f prime because we want to figure out when f prime is positive. So having a factored version of f prime is helpful. So, Daniel, what would be the first step in creating a factored version of f prime? No, I'm trying to factor f prime. So, what do I do, Boston?
I would factor out 3 first.
Yeah, first step is factor out the 3.
Interesting, Boston.
What does it leave, Boston?
X squared plus x minus 3. Be careful there. Oh, 2x, my bad.
2 points for Boston. Questions? Sweet. So then we keep going because we can factor more hopefully. If not, it's going to be a little challenging, but do what you got to do. So Jenna, does that factor more?
Yes.
Go ahead.
It's going to be 2 and 1. Well, negative 2 and negative 1. So x minus 1.
Let me help you a little bit. We know that x times x is going to be x squared. The next place you should look is here. So Jenna, what times what will equal 3? 3 and 1. So these have to be 3 and 1. 2 points for Jenna. Now you got to figure out the rest. So x times 1 would be x. 3 times x would be 3x, but I need a 2x. So I need this to be positive and this to be negative. Now it all works. Questions? So Sam, we now have f prime factored. You and everyone else is going to memorize that the next statement is critical because on the written test, if you write this statement that I'm writing in black, you will often get 1 point for just the black statement. It's like the easiest point to earn on the entire AP test. So I write, I want to find out when f prime is positive, negative, 0, or undefined. You start by identifying when is f prime 0 or undefined. That statement in black will often get you 1 full point on the written section. We're trying to figure out what x's will cause this formula for f prime to have a value of either 0 or a value that is undefined. So we finish the statement by saying when x equals, we're going to eventually, but you have to start here with the black. So, yep, but it goes pretty smooth. So Paige, what x will cause f prime to either equal 0 or undefined? And what else, Paige? Nicely done, 2 points. So we need to talk about that black information. You have to get the black part right. If you get the black part wrong, everything else falls apart. All the rest of the work will be wrong. You have to build around that. It's the most important piece.
Can you say x equals 0?
Let's try it. 2 points for Brinley. If we put a 0 here, will this factor be, what will this factor be, Brinley? No, if you put a 0 in for the x, you'd have 0 plus 3, which is just 3. And then if we put a 0 in for this x, what will this factor equal?
1.
Yeah, negative 1, so that doesn't work.
So if it was, the 3 on front was an x, then it would be.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yep. If this said, you're okay. If this said 3x, then x equals 0 would be another x value causing f prime to equal 0. It's good work. 2 more. Anybody else? Okay, cool. Now you build the sign chart. So a sign chart is nothing really that new. It's just a table. The only part that's new is you don't have to worry about any numbers. All you have to worry about are the signs. So we're going to chart f prime. So I go x and f prime. Question? Cool. Let's go to Tyler. We start with, you have to build around this. So those are the first 2 x's that I put in the chart. I need to make sure I'm in numerical order. I need to make sure I leave space around them for other numbers. So something like that. And I know what goes here, Tyler, for this chart.
Zero.
There we go. If x is equal to negative 3, then the value of f prime will be 0. If x is equal to 1, the value of f prime is 0. 2 points for Tyler. Please.
I don't understand that. Why is
You're okay. Are you okay with this formula for f prime? So the chart is just using this formula, and we're just filling out the chart. Better? Yep. Got it? 2 more. Anybody else? Okay, Lily, all we need now is we need an x value that is more negative than -3. You can pick anything. -4 is a commonly stated choice. Now here's the key thing. Everybody look up. Don't miss this. Okay, once you have identified the value of x for which f prime is equal to 0, now we know that for any x from -infinity all the way to x equal 3, -3, all the values of f prime will all be the same. Meaning they'll all be a positive number or a negative number. They will not switch back and forth. So you can test for 1 point and you know what all the other points are doing. So from all x's, from -infinity all the way to x equal -3, one test right here is sufficient. Because the functions we are dealing with are not going to switch without either having a y value that is 0 or undefined. But we've already found all the y values where f prime is 0 or undefined. So we have found all the switch points. Page, please.
So this is not like when it changes increasing and decreasing?
Smart. We're not focused at all on whether f prime is increasing or decreasing.
Because it could increase or decrease.
For sure,
But
for
it
sure.
won't change sign.
Won't change sign. And that's all we care about. That's the guiding rule for this problem. We don't care whether f prime is going up or down. We just want to know whether f prime is positive or negative. So the sign chart method is going to find that for us very quickly. 2 more, please.
I'm just, how did you know that you're, like, what tells you in that problem that you need to find the derivative?
So I'm trying to, so what's the problem truly asking?
Like, when are the values of f increasing?
Perfect. I need to figure out when f is increasing. Everybody memorize, come on, look, memorize. You cannot determine when f is increasing unless you have a picture of that.
Oh.
It literally is impossible.
So then you found the derivative because then you can see if it's increasing, because that is also.
So what I'm really going to find out is when f prime has positive y coordinates. But knowing that will tell me when f is increasing. So it's an indirect approach.
Because you have the equation, and in the equations you can tell if it's positive or negative.
Correct. 2 more, please.
So then do you just plug it in with that one value?
Yeah, it's perfect, Sarah. So we come over here, we take x equal -4. If you put a -4 in this x, will this factor that I'm underlying be positive or negative? Negative, because you're plugging in -4. So let's write that down. So we have a negative. And then Sarah, plugging in -4 for this x will give me a what? Negative as well. I don't care about the numbers. 3 times negative would be?
Positive.
3 times negative times negative? Positive. Points for Sarah.
So you don't care about the actual.
Don't care about the numbers. That's why I am not a huge fan of making a table. Oh, it's because it's defective.
Oh.
It's lost its little tab on the end, so they're not symmetric. It's all confused. Hey, look. Make a sign chart. You don't care about the numbers. Just the positive, negative, 0, and undefined.
That's nice.
Questions?
It's always those 4 positive, negative, 0.
That's all you worry about. All you worry about. Please.
This is so random, but how does the teach without Danicka's chart? Danicka's chart. It's always
I only did it for 1 year because Danica was in my first class. So she helped me out for all my subsequent years. You can do it. It just is such a helpful aid.
Yeah.
It's so helpful.
Danica's probably my favorite student.
Yeah, me too.
That's not the answer. You're supposed to say right.
You're second. Yeah.
I would have made the chart if it
Ryan
wasn't
has
already
a
made.
second. Not Ryan has a second.
Hey. Pretty good? Pretty good?
Yes, sir.
Good luck. So now you know. Listen, don't talk. From x equal negative infinity all the way to x equal negative 3, the f prime values are all positive. So f is increasing for all of those x's. F is increasing for all of those x's. Now we keep going, so Riley, we need to test another number. What number does it appear we should be testing?
2.
Oh,
Greater
in
than-
between.
In between would be good.
-2.
Negative 2 would work. I promise if you can test 0, it's always easiest. So it's 0 between x equal negative 3 and x equal 1.
Yeah.
So 0 is a good choice. 2 points for Riley.
Oh, sweet.
So Anna, come over here. This factor here, Anna, positive or negative when x is 0.
Positive.
So that factor is positive. And then Anna, this factor will be? Hence, the value of f prime will be negative. 2 points for Anna. Questions?
Wait, you mean negative?
Yeah, I meant negative. Thank you. 2 points for Ryan.
Yes, dang it. You guys can cancel
Questions?
Oh, Kenny.
Very good. Ava, now what do we test?
You would test something bigger than 1, so like a positive number.
Tell me just some number, I don't care.
100.
Just like 4.
4 is great.
How about 50?
So Ava,
4's too big. All right.
plug in a 4 here, positive or negative?
Positive.
This one?
Positive.
So we're done.
4 anything.
2 points for Ava. Okay, show me on your hand the correct letter answer. Like this, you know? What is the correct letter answer?
Don't tell me.
What is the correct letter answer? Most people.
C.
If you're voting this, give yourself 3. Okay. This.
How is it wrong? The test will show, guys.
We want to talk about it. Please.
Like, how did you say when x is less than -3, it would be increasing?
So,
Oh, wait.
you see it? So for all x's, -3 or less, f prime is positive.
Or does it skip?
Right. Skips all that. Then if, all x's from x equal 1 or greater,
So if it's 0, it still counts as positive.
if x equals,
I guess
that one's actually can go either way, to be honest. Yeah, they will, don't worry about the equal part. That's kind of controversial. Is that okay? Okay. Anybody else? Questions? Anything? Sweet. Okay, cool. Next thing.